Hey guys, this is DomiNations, and I'm back with a new episode. I'm really sorry, guys, that I didn't was gonna post for a while, but there has been some problems in real life and stuff in my computer. But I'll definitely try to upload more like daily episodes, hopefully, and that's what I'm going for. And thank you for like 60 subscribers already. I'm really happy that you guys are all watching and enjoying my videos, because I I really like this game, and I hope that I can make it enjoyable for you guys. So this video will be about like beginner tricks and tips, and kind of like just the things that like I kind of learned, and maybe it might help you guys out too. So first, what I do is usually when I start, collect all your your money and your food, you know the usual things. And then oh, sorry, it's a little laggy. But and then after that, usually you hunt, and you do your fruit trees and your gold mines. Usually I do a blessing. I usually do a gathering blessing, because it gives you 20% more. So it's actually really helpful when you're trying to, when you're hunting and when you're gathering like from the fruit trees and the gold mines. It's actually really helpful. Um, and it lasts for 10 minutes, so that's pretty helpful. I would definitely suggest using it. Um, oh, sorry, didn't mean to click that. So that's what I would do first. Usually that's the first thing I do. I always get a gathering blessing, and then I just start, hunting and gathering everything. That's definitely a good thing to do every time, unless you don't have the trade goods for it. But after that, let's see. There's some other kind of small things I would talk about. Another beginner tip is when you're building your base. This is not always the best base to do right here, but it's just something I've always preferred. There are some better bases layouts. I'll definitely show them off later. Make sure when you have a base, make sure there's no spots that will show that where they can put like their troops in. Like usually it shows when you move something. If you click it and try to move it, oh sorry. When you click it and try to move it, it shows sometimes it is an open space. That means they can put their troops right there. So definitely always watch out for kind of like the things, to do. Like make sure there's always no like small gaps that they can get into for free. So they would always need to hit your wall first. A next suggestion would be usually another beginner tip. When you're making your base layout, the things that you don't really need to keep in the walls are like kind of like stuff like this that don't have any like they don't hold any food or gold, like the War Academy, the library, the temple, the storehouse, the blacksmith, like your wonders. Like there's not really in your barracks and your mercenary camps. Those are not really needed to stay in there, because the thing is, even if they attack it, it doesn't really do anything. I mean, they don't get any food. You need to protect your food, like your gold and your food the most. You know, my suggestion is, because they can also take food away from you if they just attack your farms. If your farms actually hold food, because they can take half away from your farm, but they can take only a quarter away from your mills and also your markets. So definitely try to pick up your gold and food like daily, within like a couple hours or so. That's my suggestion. I really do that pretty often. And another beginner tip I would suggest is, spread out like your towers and stuff. Make them see it shows you the range. So definitely try to cover as much range with the towers that you have. Let's see. Another beginner tip I would suggest to do is, let me see. Yeah, definitely try to keep like your garrisons, your stables, everything that someone can attack for free. Definitely keep it within the wall, so then like it'll make it harder for them. They can't just get in for free in the attack. Another thing I would suggest is, if you have a library already, if you're already in the classical age, I would definitely suggest try to upgrade as much as you can for everything. There's some really good stuff that you can upgrade, and I think it's really helpful. I mean, I have upgraded most things already. Definitely, I would suggest these two whenever you get to them, because it gives you another tower on the first one, and the machinery, you get a catapult. Like, so it's actually an extra catapult, and that's what I've built. So I have 2 catapults right now, actually. So that's definitely, as a beginner, definitely put your money into researching stuff at the library. And if you get a chance, fix your alliance gate, and then if you join an alliance, you can request troops, and it's really helpful. At the moment, I can only have 6, so that means I can have like a combination of like one like bulky, I forget what it's called, but the soldier that has like a lot of hit points, or I can have like 6 just like normal soldiers. Definitely, that's all I suggest to do. Also, as a beginner, I would suggest working on your barracks. Get them max them out first, because you definitely always want more troops. And when you max it out, every time you get a level, you get usually 5 more troops. So definitely, always upgrade your barracks and always build the barracks first. That's just my opinion. Also, when you're playing, definitely when you're gonna get into battle, definitely always have your tactics. Just I would suggest the sabotage tactic, because it kind of like holds them, from doing anything, and it's actually really helpful when you're fighting like other like player versus player. But the thing about war tactics, they take a long time, so definitely kind of don't do it too like, I wouldn't use them like all the time, because then you might find a fight that you actually need it. So definitely try to keep those as much as you can. And so some beginner tips also that I would suggest is always upgrade your walls. Walls are the most expensive thing, because they waste a lot of money, a lot of gold. So definitely have them at least decent. You don't have to have it the best, but definitely once you work on everything else first, definitely work on your walls too. It's actually helpful. So now the things I'll talk about is like stuff in battle, and this is kind of some beginner tips that I've learned and some that people have taught me. So let me just show you a battle. And so when you're going into battle, I'll show you what I usually look for when I'm going to battle somebody. And so there's always there's always a weak point, usually a strong point, and so every base is different. So in this base, definitely this bottom half is the stronger part, because it's two set of walls right here to kind of, you have to get into, just to break in. I would start from the top. Definitely you might need to spread out your soldiers a little bit, because the catapult does do a lot of spread damage, and so the catapult right here does a lot of spread damage, so it's definitely not good for your soldiers. I'm not gonna be fighting this, but I'll definitely want to show you guys some other tips. So when you're battling, you can tell, like, if you're just trying to go for resources, their resources, and trying to get as much as you can. If you see how full like these markets and these mills are, see how full these are? So that means they're holding most of the food, right, and the available loot is held mostly in the mills and the markets right now. When these are not full, they're actually held in the farms and the caravans that drop these, little gold things right here. So when you see that, that's how you'll know, oh, okay, I need to attack the markets and the mills, or should I attack the farms? And so that's actually really helpful when you're playing, because sometimes you just want the resources. So if they're in here, it's kind of difficult to just kind of go there and get it. So sometimes it's better to know, is it in the mill, or is it in the farm, or is it in the market, etc. That's definitely one of my strategies I would suggest. Here's also another strategy that many people do, especially high-level players, including myself. Another tip I would talk about is, so like when you go into battle, and these, when you get to higher levels, it's much harder to get like a lot of food and gold. You have to fight a lot of people, and so the thing is, when you get matched up with a player with higher medals, when your medals get higher, then it's much more difficult to you get matched up with harder people, even though you're a lower level. So definitely, this is a thing that a lot of people talk about, is that you lower your medal count on purpose, so then you can also just fight easier people and have a chance to get easier resources. And so I would suggest this, since you see how these right here, these markets and these mills are not full at all compared to the last one before. And also this guy has a gap. If you saw it earlier, there's a gap right here. I can put my soldiers here, but I see how there is, like, most of the loot right now is actually held in these farms right here. And this is usually how it is most of the time, and this gold thing. So I can actually just attack these farms right here to get most of the gold, and then also lower my medal count so I don't get too high and fight harder people. So let me show you what I mean. So I mean, like, if I just put some soldiers out, right? And these people just, you know, it's just like you use a couple soldiers and please tell me it didn't freeze. Anyways, guys, what I'm trying to show you is basically when you attack these right here, these farms, basically you're gonna get most of the food from there because there's no food here. And also, whenever you finish, just end the battle, and then you'll lose the medals, but you'll get the resources. So, in fact, you'll be gaining some more resources so you can use, but you'll also lower your level so you can have easier people, and after that, you can go back and fight harder people after, and get more resources again. I'll be back. Let me just restart this. Sorry, guys. Okay, guys. Sorry, I'm back now. Sorry it froze up on me. Sometimes when I use the computer to play DomiNations, it freezes up sometimes. It really annoys me. So basically what I was talking about, you know, it's better to lower your medals, because if you have a higher medal count, you're going to be matched up with harder people, so it's harder to get, you know, resources. And definitely it's better to just sometimes lower your medal count so then you can actually just fight easier people and get more resources. So let me show you what I mean this time. Hopefully it won't freeze. So definitely these strategies I think are very helpful when you're playing. I do this a lot when I need to earn a lot of food or a lot of gold, and it's easier actually to get food most of the time because most people actually leave the farms outside, you know, but no, not everyone does. About this base, you see how these the markets right here and the mills right here are pretty full, so most of the gold's in there and the food is in there. So I would go on to the next match in this one because it'd be kind of hard to just kind of get any resources from it. Sometimes you can get a lot just by, you know, just putting a couple soldiers down, end the battle, you know. And so this one, you see this, like this one has some food, this has barely any food, and these have no food. So definitely most of the foods are in the caravans in the farms right now, and these farms are actually a little bit hard to reach. Let me show you a different one. Hopefully I can find a good one to show you guys. This is definitely good for when you need a lot of like food or gold. This is definitely the approach I would suggest. This one's a little bit harder too because all the farms are inside the walls. Sorry guys, it's a little bit slow, but okay. Okay, and you can do this too. And so, even if the farms are not outside, you see how all the gold is, all the food is right here in these mills right here. And there's only a wall right here. So what I can do is, I'm gonna use a good amount of troops to break through the wall and then go here and get all the food. Okay, so basically, I'm just gonna use a decent amount. I don't need to use all of my soldiers, but just have them enough where they can break the wall. And then I'm gonna use the rally, and then I'm gonna bring them right here. They're gonna start attacking me, but see, you see how most of this food's going down super quick because most of the food is actually in the market. And so, I mean, I got about like 30,000, so I'm just gonna end, right? And I got about 30,000. It's actually pretty good for 14 soldiers only used, and I lost the medals, so it kind of makes me have an easier matchup later when I have to fight somebody. So it's good to raise your medal count, but then it's good to lower your medal count after. And it's a really important strategy, in my opinion, when you're playing. And so after that, you can just rebuild up your soldiers and stuff. And that's the last strategy I want to talk about now. If I know some more, I'll definitely let you guys know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and definitely leave a comment below or leave a like, and I'll definitely make more videos for you guys. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you guys later.